And this is a closed class, so we got to make sure the Facebook people know that. Only the people that signed up for this class will be getting the benefit of class notes. Had to sign up for it. There was no charge for this. If y'all are watching on Facebook, it's still not too late to sign up. Lisa, you can register in there too. Today is day one of our 4-week class. I know y'all are amazed that the show goes on, right? I told you for 20 years, God willing, right? So the show, I've got several emails. I guess we're not having a 4-week class. Yes, we are. I am not a hireling. I might not be the best looking guy, but I'm not a hireling. I got this little note while we're waiting on people to get in here. This really blessed my heart. This is how the Elizabeth Gordy is trying to sign up for this brand new class. I was at church Sunday waiting on people to get in here. And I know I look rough. I've got a big sty under my eye, and I'm sorry. But I was at church Sunday, and this is how the Lord works. Does anybody else, I guess it goes along. Hey, I love you too, Lavelle. I guess it goes along, Deanna, with if you've ever had a weight problem, at least I did. Let me give you a little backdrop while we're waiting on people to get in here. This is the first class of a 4-week course that we're going to start together and end together, graduate together. We'll start the sessions today. But if you've ever had a weight problem, has anybody else battled with self-esteem and self-confidence issues? I always felt like I was ugly. And it started in grammar school when during PE, back when they called it PE, we had a coach. You know, you forget, you look up to them because they're adults, but he was just a kid, right? I don't know that because I'm a little kid. He just out of school, but he dressed like Fonzie. Anybody remember, hey, Fonzie? I love to watch Happy Days. I've spent a lot of time watching Andy Griffith and Happy Days since last August. But Fonzie, hey, you know. So he was too cool for school. And when we would play dodgeball, basketball, tetherball. That's what we would do. And we would run laps for PE. And it was a day where we were going to play basketball. And he divided the teams, the boys' teams, shirts and skins. He said that I was purposely on the skins team every time so that I would be embarrassed and I would lose weight. He said this publicly. So when I would take my shirt off, I had this awkward build. Hey, Joy Beth. I had this really awkward build. I looked like a chunky version of E.T., narrow at the chest and wide at the waist. And the kids would make fun of me, and it would hurt my feelings. And he would make me run laps around the gym in front of everybody because I was chunky. I wasn't in good physical condition. And that tormented me. And the other boys that were older than me tormented me. So I developed early on this identity that I was F-A-T, that I was fat. And you know, it's those early formidable years that go with us until even this age, 53, because you can go with a sense of not feeling good enough, right? So it wasn't right after I started losing weight and getting some attention for losing weight and how I lost weight, I was at mom's looking for old pictures of when I was a kid and fat. And mom said, you were not fat. You were just a little bit, had an awkward build, but you were never fat. I said, yeah, I was fat. She said, no, here, look at these pictures. I wasn't fat at all. I was just a chunky, I wasn't even what you would call chunky these days. Just had that narrow chest and little love handles, but wasn't fat. And then at 15, I went on high blood pressure medicine. But in my mind, it was because I was fat. Mom said, no, it was because you were a worrywart. Has anybody seen that about me? Have you seen that? But keep in mind the identity that I had of myself. I believed other people's opinion of myself, and then I did become overweight. When you tell yourself something long enough, you begin to believe it. And I got up Sunday morning and I felt pitiful. And I looked in the mirror and I had this big sty and I said, I'm ugly. Won't nobody ever want me. I'm ugly. I'm broke. And I started talking to the devil. And I said, get behind me, Satan. So I'm not ignorant of his devices anymore. But I went to church, and we go to a little primitive Baptist country church. And there's this little girl named Willow. And during the meeting, I was moved by the Holy Ghost to stand up and do what I was supposed to do. Had a good time in the Lord, felt great. And afterwards, I was standing out in the yard, and little Willow ran up to me, and she's giggling. She said, I've got a note I want to give you, but you can't tell Mom and Daddy. And I said, okay. She said, you promise you won't tell Mom and Daddy? And I said, I promise I won't tell you, Mom and Daddy. And she gave me this little note, and it said, you are cute, Travis.
Aw.
And then I opened it up, and it said, this is your secret admirer, Willow. And one day I'm going to marry you. Check yes or no. And I'm standing out there in the yard, and I start boo-hooing. And it's no wonder people think I'm crazy. But see, here was my point. God's got a way of speaking to you through anything and anyone. And if you'll start looking for all the signs around you that you're worthy, that you're great, I bet you'll find them. But if you look for all the signs that you're not, you'll find those too. So let's start this group out right today. Let's have a positive view of ourselves, of the future, and let's put God first. Will y'all join me in doing that?
Amen.
We're going to have a good time in this 4-week class, okay? If you're in the Facebook group, the members only group, please, I'm going to do everything I can. We had some donations yesterday that were specifically for the text messages. You know who you are. You're an anonymous donator. And I really appreciate that. That really blessed me, and it helps me because when people donate, I'm like, I don't want to waste their funds. And when she said, I want this to go towards the text, that really helped me. That took pressure off. And I'm going to put that into the text and get us some more text so I can notify. But please keep in mind, it's in the website on the schedule. And if you'll put it in your calendar, then you'll all of us get good at scheduling and planning the classes, because I feel like we need them. I know when I'm not in class teaching, and it would be the same if I were the student, I don't know that I would do as good. I have said through the years, the data in our website backs this statement up. Those that attend live classes, at least twice a month, that seems to be the threshold, twice a month, and journal, get 3 to 4 times better results than those that log into the website and only use the recipes and food library. Has anybody seen that in their journey? When you attend live class and you journal, you get better results.
I have.
Why do y'all think that is, Deanna? You're a very smart person, very intelligent, thoughtful. So so they hear it from you, why do you think, if you don't, you know the information whether you come to class or not. So coming to class, that hour that you invest on a weekly basis, why does that make a difference?
I feel like it keeps me accountable and helps motivate me to keep doing right.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Does it have anything to do with the bombardment of information outside of us taking care of ourselves? Does it have anything to do with the bombardment of, I have noticed that the Shibboleth family in general, the individuals, like attracts like. So there's going to be some commonalities between us. And I bet if you had to classify yourselves as givers or takers, you're mostly givers. And the givers usually end up with the takers taking until you got nothing left to give, right? You're just empty. So you got to be careful because you won't take care of yourself. You're too busy taking care of other people, and you'll wind up empty. You have got to spend time taking care of yourself. Now, that may mean a massage, but it could also mean education. Getting your mind refocused on you got to take care of you. You've got to sharpen the axe before you try to chop down that tree for everybody else. So keeping what's important top of consciousness, or the world and environment around you, will get you distracted, and you'll focus on things, everybody else's things, until you're empty. So that 1 hour a week that I'm asking for, it's important, and you'll be better for everybody. The people that you give to, you'll be better for everybody. You'll be a lot better for them because you'll be full again so that you can give. You know, that's your thing. And a lot of y'all are that way. You don't have time because you're trying to help and see about everybody else. But at the end of the day, you crash and burn. So I'm preaching to the choir, aren't I? All right. Lisa, Shanice is asking how she can help. If you'll let her know. Shanice, I've seen your foods, and I'm really proud of you. You're doing a really good job. Proud of you. Good job.
Thank you. It's because of you and your mama.
I know she's really helping it. I don't know if you've seen the get in your wagon side of her yet, though. She'll get in your wagon, as we say here in New Harley.
Well, she needs to get in mine then,
She
because I'm adopting her.
I'm just waiting for somebody to call me or text me crying, "Your mama hurt my feelings," cause she'll do it.
Nope. I'm doing a study at church called Unoffendable. So.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. Strive to be unoffendable. All right. Well, I will get started. I have delayed enough. So this is the beginning of our 4-week class. Everybody that registered for the Zoom sessions, you can watch it in the members only group, but you're the group, and here's how this works. So over 4 weeks, we're going to go through the curriculum. We're going to get in all the nooks and crannies of beginner information, so that when you come out of this 4-week session, if you take it to heart, you'll be able to sit at a table with anybody the world over who's leading weight loss, wellness, nutrition, dietetics, whatever, and you will blow them away with your practical information. This is not a tap-out challenge. This is education, like going to school. The group is beginning together, and the group is going to end together. So in the members on in this the 4-week curriculum Facebook group, hold each other accountable, encourage each other. The badge that you get, that you earn at the end of this, it'll have its own flair to it, but it will tell the percentage of people that finished this class. So we want a good group. Another accountability measure here. None of us in here, I'm gonna start putting the weight that I feel on y'all, in that I always feel, what did I do wrong? When we start with 100 people and only 20 remain. So that would be a 20% badge. And
Not your fault.
We'll all know, won't we, Deanna? Okay. So if we say, let's say we don't have 100, but let's say we had 180 finish. That's a B, isn't it? This group got a B if we can get that many to finish, and that will be the all-time high. Usually only about 3 to 5% of the people finish a challenge or a course. Life is becoming that distracting, but we can do this. Let's get fired up about it. We're going to be different. So I'm going to curse the words I just said. In the name of Jesus, I just curse the curse words that I just said. We are going to have 100% completion. Deal?
Deal.
All right. So here we go. Let me pull up. Let's get started with the information. I want you to know where to go, whether you're taking this course or not. All right, we've got a plethora of tools and resources here. We're going to our resources, and we're going to go to digital books. You've got your workbook where you can fill in the blanks if you printed that out. And then you've got the phase 1 program. Okay, I'm going to pull that up. And I'm going to go in and out of this. I'm going to make sure that I cover our entire fast track system and get in all the nooks and crannies and answer questions. This is day 1. This is the same thing that I promised that I've been teaching for 20 years. This is what we used to teach in corporate classes and community groups everywhere we went. So we got to start with the why. Now, we won't spend as much time on the why today because we did that last week. We said you need to get ready with your vision board, need to get ready with your vision tracker. You're overriding fleshly habits. We have to start with a why. Why are we doing this? If we go to the Home Depot and we buy a drill, it wasn't the drill that we wanted. It was the hole in the wall. We've got to determine in detail what it is that we want. We've got to begin to look in that mirror and see our goal and not what is. The Bible talks about calling things forth and forward that are not as though they already are. I want to pause there for a minute. Us being a Christ-centered program, everything that you desire that's of the Lord, it already exists. Joy Beth, whatever your goal is, it already exists. Call it forth and forward, even if it isn't, as though it is. The Shibboleth, we've been very transparent. I have to stop cursing my own self. What I desire for Shibboleth is already here. It has just not been revealed because it has not been time for it to be revealed based upon my growth. Same thing for you, Joy Beth. It already exists. So if you'll read the Holy Scriptures, if you read in Genesis, when God spoke over the earth, if you'll go read about that, you will find everything that needed to come from the ground to sustain Adam and Eve was already in there because he spoke his word over it and said it must come forth. It was already there. He didn't have to put anything in the ground to come forth. It was already there. He just said, come forth. Lazarus in the tomb. They seen a dead man that stunk. Jesus seen life. He wept over them feeling the mourning over their loss, but also their lack of faith. He wept over that because all he needed to do was say, come forth. They needed to see life in that tomb, but they seen death. Jesus only revealed what was already in that tomb, life. Am I making any sense? So as we get started and we come up with our why, our vision for our life, for our health, I don't want you thinking, okay, this is going to take me 6 months. Whew, that's a long time. I got to do all this hard work and lose 70 pounds to reach my goal. I can only lose 2 or 3. It's going to be tough. That's the wrong way for us to look at it. We look at it like it's already there. All we got to do is seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all of these things will be added unto us. And I hope somebody will speak here just for a minute. What is already sown in your heart when you look in that mirror with a positive mindset? Who do you see? What is the goal? A couple of you share what your goals are and pin those down. You don't just say a weight. What do you see? What do you believe losing weight is going to give you that you don't currently have? What pain will you be alleviating and what pleasure will you obtain? Amy says healthy. Feel free to jump in here.
Reduce inflammation.
Beth says a reduction of inflammation. Now, here's how I would write that. If you're a Faithfully Fit member, we had an inflammation class, didn't we? So we know we need to reduce inflammation, but let's drill in. By reducing inflammation, I lower my LDL cholesterol. Now I live longer. By lowering inflammation, I'm getting rid of the silent killer. By lowering inflammation, I'm staving off dementia and Alzheimer's if it runs in my genetics. By reducing inflammation, I have less chronic pain and less acute pain. By reducing inflammation, I sleep better and spend more time in recovery. So write those things down. We know we're supposed to reduce inflammation, but when we drill down, what does that give us that we want? Now we go deeper. I get to be around for my grandson longer. I get to have more energy to play with him, have more desire to play with him. He thinks Papa is 20 years younger than what he is. Do you see?
That's what I was going to say. Have the energy to keep up with the grandbabies.
Absolutely. The best years of our life, right? So we drill down. Make sure that you drill down. Beth says, sit comfortably in an airplane seat. Reduce my medication. Save money. Because in the coming days, let me do this. Yesterday, my mom, while we were, my mama, they didn't think she was going to make it. She's 100 years old. So the family went in, and of course, the Lord works in mysterious ways, and all of a sudden her oxygen come back because of all that love around her, and we prayed and we sang, and it was an amazing time. You never know what the Lord's going to do. But after that, my mom said, let me take you out of the Mexican restaurant. So when I've got chips and cheese dip and burritos and chicken wings and French fries in front of my face, am I thinking about reducing inflammation? Is that what I'm thinking about in that moment?
Probably not.
Not at all. Do you think we're thinking, I don't want to miss out on this? That instant gratification sure is going to be good. Now, did I think about the heartburn that would come afterwards? Did I think about I just set myself back 2 days? Now, what if I had pulled my list out or my phone up with all of my goals listed there, and I had read through those and I got connected to them again? Would I have had a holiday? No. Every one of you had rather have reduced inflammation, get off medications, a longer life, more energy, more time with your grandchildren. You would all rather have that than some French fries. I mean, we're talking about 3 minutes of mouth pleasure for hours of pain, 2 days of pain, 2 days of setback. But what happens there, that appeals to my body of flesh. Are you with me? You got to start thinking like this. All of us do. That appeals to my body of flesh. My mind and my spirit aren't engaged. The spirit is a small, still voice. The French fries under my nose without me connecting to the spirit is an earthquake. Oh, I got to have it now. Are you with me? Okay, this is Bible. So I need to have my goals in front of my face that says, don't do it, and here's why you don't do it, and every time you do this, you regret it. It's never worth it. Mouth pleasure is never, ever, ever worth it. This is how we overcome. Your why must be greater than temptation. The pleasure that you desire to have must be greater than temptation. All right, before we move on, any other comments about your why? Has everybody got a why? You have a vision tracker online. You have my vision for my life worksheets. You can put all of that stuff connected on your phone with a short link so you can click it and it's right there in front of you before you ever stick that French fry in your mouth. All right. Y'all gonna be quiet. Y'all know now. All right. So we're gonna come up with who are you? What do we mean by who are you? Not just your why. But Jesus said, I am the way, I am the truth, I am the life. He didn't say I am fat, I don't have discipline, I am ugly. He didn't say that. I am what I am. And as we think, so it will be. Okay, so we want to come up with some good I am statements. I am lean, I am healthy, I am disciplined. Now, I know that you may not feel that way. I know that you may not feel that way. You may not feel worthy about saying these things that are positive about yourself. But we're calling things forth and forward that are not as though they already are, because it's just they haven't been revealed yet. So you need some really strong I am statements. I had to work on mine Sunday. I was in a bad way. And just to get out of that, I knew the enemy was attacking me in my own mind, and I had to write down some positive stuff about me because the Lord commanded me to. I need you to do that about yourselves. I don't want you speaking negativity or writing negativity over the next 4 weeks. You're going to think negativity. Are your thoughts always your own? No. No. We certify, listen, we certify the thought when we agree with it by speaking it or writing it. Do you want to be certifying, touching, and agreeing with negative thoughts? No. You only make them your own because that's how the enemy comes at you. He's always out there gathering information. Every time you failed on a diet, every time you said a curse word, everything you've ever done out loud or visibly, the enemy's grabbing it. Got it. He's the prosecuting attorney. And he's going to use it against you. That don't mean that you have to certify it. I read in my Bible, we've got a defense lawyer. What's his name? And he's the best.
Jesus.
He's better than O.J. Simpson's attorneys. Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. And guess who the judge is? The Lord our God. And all I got to do is plead the fifth. When the devil's attacking, just, Travis, shut up. Do not agree with the prosecutor. Am I giving you good wisdom? Don't agree with the prosecutor. How many of y'all told me Sunday night when I was hurting, quit saying bad things about yourself? What was I doing? Now, you know you've seen yourself in me too in that moment. It's easier to give somebody else advice than it is your own self. But you were saying, stop. Don't say these things. You're agreeing with the prosecuting attorney. Just shut up, Travis. Plead the fifth. Your life is hid in Jesus. Somebody should shout right now. Your life is hid in Jesus. And even if you, some of us trying so hard to lose weight, that's the reason we don't lose weight. We're so hyper fixated on it, not realizing if we never solve this issue, it's okay. Let's rejoice because our name is written in the Lamb's Book of Life. You haven't given yourself over to it. You're fighting it. Now, we need to worry when we have a reprobate mind and we don't even care and our conscience isn't even pricked anymore. But if you're fighting, if you're trying, Paul said, I have a thorn in the flesh. How many of you, your thorn is pizza? But he said, my grace is sufficient. My grace to overcome it. And also, if you engage in it, to be forgiven, as long as you have the intent to do better. Okay? So when we're getting started here and you're committing, I'm going to go 4 weeks and have perfect days and I'm not going to have too many holidays. By the way, over the next 4 weeks, since this isn't a tap out challenge, how many holidays can we have? We can have 6, can't we? 6 holidays in a month. If all of your other days are perfect, Will you lose weight? I guarantee it. I guarantee it. How much, Travis? 5 to 10% of your body weight if you're just getting started. If you've been doing this for a while and been losing weight good, about 1%. So let's say someone's 160 pounds. You're going to lose 7 to 10 pounds in a month if you've been doing it for a while and you're not full of water weight and sugar. If you're just getting started, it would be 16 pounds probably. So the math will always play out, but you got to trust me. Okay? But 6 holidays, is that enough? That's 1 a week and 2 accidents a month. Now, when you reach your goal, how many do you get? 12, the number of disciples. You get 12 holidays a month. If all of your other days are perfect, you will never, ever have a problem again. All right? Any questions, comments on what's been said so far?
Hi, Travis. I do have a question. At the beginning, when you were showing the why, right before you were showing the why, on the website, you were on a page and you scrolled down and there was like workbook and there was some other stuff listed. What page was that? Everybody's sending me links, but that's not the page you showed.
Gotcha. Let me go back to the website.
Okay, thank you so much.
Got it. That's what we are here to do. And I hope we discover some things maybe you didn't know was on the website over the 4 weeks. And
Yes,
okay.
this. Okay,
Yes.
so where do I find that?
So I'm going to resources, foods, and recipes.
And digital books.
Yep.
Okay.
Digital books, right here it is.
Sources and then digital books. Okay.
Now, some of this stuff is like what I would call archive stuff. It's just old stuff that we put in here because every once in a while people would ask. Some of it's irrelevant now, like nutrition reps. We don't do that anymore. That's wow challenges now. There's our first recipe book that we sold back in the day. Here was the kids program comic books. But yeah, all the books that we ever put out or handed out, they're now in the form of digital books.
Okay, and I noticed that you had clicked phase 1, but right above it is the 4-week lifestyle launch. Is that this program that we're getting ready to do?
It is. The book that I'm going through, it has a workbook that goes along with it. And if it will pull up, it's not pulling up. There it comes. This is the workbook. You've got everything from your guarantee and personal contract with yourself to get through the 4 weeks, and then it goes along with the book.
Okay.
So you can print and write, because when we get to the nutrition part, when you write things down, you'll remember them. So when we would go to Shaw Industries, for example, we would hand out a workbook so that they could work through the workbook with us. Can't do this anymore in corporate because there's too much faith-based stuff in it. They won't allow it anymore. That's why we don't do corporate stuff anymore.
Such a shame.
Yeah, it is. It is. I used to run 40, 50 classes a week with instructors teaching, and we wouldn't stop talking about faith-based elements, and every one of them eventually phased us out. And that was the only reason. They asked us if we would eliminate that, we could have kept those accounts, but we refused. Sasha and I refused to do that. All right, we'll keep going. Let me go back to my book here. And all right, so I'm back in the book, and we've been talking about the why. Again, do not underestimate the value of the why. Even the Lord our God says, write it plainly on tablets, doesn't he? He even told the children of Israel even kept it on frontlets before their eyes because of the works of their flesh, and they feared the Lord, so they even kept the commandments. Now they're written on our hearts, but they had to keep them in front of their face so they didn't forget. The diet devil. the diet devil. This is real. And we're all getting further and further away from believing, not you, I'm just talking in general, but as a society, further away from believing in the truth. It seems the smarter we try to make ourselves or think ourselves to be, the further we get from the truth. You have an enemy. Okay, and again, I don't even know if I'll keep going with this kind of imagery because it's too childish. The enemy is real. And the enemy seeks to kill, steal, destroy. He hates you. Do you understand that? Lucifer, he hates you. He hates your body. He hates your mind. He hates your soul. He speaks out of his tail. The Bible speaks of the tail, how he swept up all 1/3 of the angels in heaven who rebelled, these spiritual entities, and they were cast out into the earth with him. His tail, it wasn't a tail like a dragon tail. It was his word. He uses his tail. He is the tail and not the head. You're the head, not the tail. He has no power over you but to lie to you. And he will lie. He'll try to take your wife. He'll try to take your husband. He'll try to take your kids. He is a liar, and he's not a bald-faced liar. He's a truth twister. That's what he is. He twists the truth. He leavens the lump with a little leaven. Y'all know what I'm talking about? The Bible says, be careful of the leaven of the Pharisees, the religious Pharisees. He leavens the lump with it. If you have a little yeast in dough, it causes it to puff up, right? Can't even have a little yeast in that dough. So he takes the truth and mingles it with a lie. And if we're not careful, if we don't stand on this, as the truth, we'll get ourselves in trouble. I really believe that, I know in my own doctrine, I got so far away from truth, and a lot of it sounded good. God is lovey-dovey. Our God is someone to fear and to respect. I still fear my Father. Y'all look in that picture of me in the nursing home yesterday. My dad's sitting over in the corner. That's Jack. That's the real Jack. And when he walks in a room, and I know he loves me, but that's why I fear him. There's accountability when he walks in the room. A father that loves the father's children, it's not just all okay. You can't go and do anything and get by. And that includes gluttonous, riotous behavior. God hates these things. Do y'all hear me? When I come back home, my dad said, I love you, son, but some of the things I've seen and how you're acting and behaving, that's not my son. Do you hear me? So part of change is having a form of sorrowfulness about how we've not lined up or tried to line up as best we can in the flesh with God's word. Don't let this just be about looking good naked. I said that for years. That's a fun thing to say. People remind, everywhere I go, they say, look good naked. Oh, I never should have done that. But it's fun, and we need to have fun. I'm not saying be boring holy roller. I'm not saying that. Don't have to be to live a holiness life. But what I am saying is that there are standards, and that's what makes life meaningful. If we live up to God's standards, we will be more successful. We're not here to self-gratify and self-pleasure every day. It's why some of us are hurting and don't have the peace that we would have. So let's fear the Lord. And here's another good thing. Once you fear the Lord, there is nothing else to fear. If you fear a lot of things, if you fear going bankrupt, you fear losing a loved one, you fear death, you fear whatever you fear. Once you fear the Lord, all other fear subsides because you know Daddy's going to take care of it. So get some leverage on yourself, not just looking good naked. Let's let part of the, hey, how many laughs do we get with this? We don't want laughs, but how many even amens do we get? Let's be clothed with righteousness. I'm going to move on. This is just day one. We get a lot of nutrition, okay? But I want you to really think there's something lacking. Adam and Eve were naked. Do you know how many times I found myself naked and ashamed, but I wasn't naked? Sunday night, I was naked. I had my clothes on, but I was naked. You with me? I want my journey moving forward to be about being clothed with righteousness. I want my life, I want to put on Jesus every day, the best of my ability. Will I get control of my gluttonous behavior if I do that? Absolutely. You know it to be the truth. All right, so let me keep going. Let's start looking at our mind, body, and soul, okay? We are working against three different powerful things here. There's three of us. And if they work together harmoniously, success will be much easier. But if we are double-minded, we will not be successful. And that's a lot of what goes on. That's a lot of what goes on. We've got the mind. We've got Travis, the mind, Travis, the physical body, the body of flesh, Travis, the spirit. Now, which one of those should we be listening to? If we're born again. If we're born again.
Spirit.
The spirit. Now, does the spirit lead the body and tell the body what to do, or does the mind? The mind. Let this mind be in you that was also in Christ Jesus. So the spirit is a spirit. I've never seen a spirit force my body to do anything. My mind tells my body what to do. Now, if we got everything upside down and we let the inmates run the asylum, my body of flesh is the inmate. And if we let my body of flesh lead the way every day and my mind just go, okay, we're in trouble. We will destroy our own life before supper tonight if we're not careful. Our flesh will. It don't know any better. The Bible teaches us that it's like an unruly child. And it can't do anything on its own. The mind has to tell it. This is why Jesus is supposed to cover us and be our governor and head. The Spirit of Jesus, our spirit's been created in that image and likeness now. Love, joy, peace, patience, gentleness, goodness, meekness, temperance, self-control, and faith. So you've got the Spirit saying, here's the direction, and the mind goes, that's where we're going. The flesh is going to pitch a fit. When you say, no, we're not eating those chips. We're not baptizing the deep fried flour in the cheese dip today. We're not doing it. Your flesh is going whang, whang, whang. The Bible says that discipline at first seems painful, but later it yields peace. It yields righteousness. In other words, your flesh goes, oh, this is pretty good. I feel better. I'm getting off medication. This is good. Do you see what I'm saying? The only way through this is to get our mind and our spirit back in charge, not the body of flesh. That has helped me. I hope it's helped you. So we've got some information here. Feel free to read through this where we talk about the mind, our physical body. We're talking more about what stuff like we do in Faithfully Fit here, where we're talking about how your brain's affected, how the neurotransmitters are affected. What are we trying to lose? Okay. a lot of emotional baggage for sure. But physically speaking, what are we trying to lose? We're trying to get rid of fat, excess adipose tissue. Fat stores 3,500 calories per pound. So every one of these, every pound of fat takes up this much space on and in the body. And it contains toxins. It contains vitamins and minerals. It contains 3,500 units of energy. 3,500 calories. Fat damages the heart and cardiovascular system. If you have excess, it robs the body of energy. It's jiggly and itchy. At rest, fat burns less calories per pound than muscle. The more percentage of our body weight that's fat, the lower the metabolism will run. Per pound, fat takes up twice the space on the body as does muscle. Fat destroys mitochondria. Fat robs your self-esteem. Fat is now considered to be the leading cause of cancer, and I'll add on, it is now the leading cause of all premature death. All causes. The only one that fat doesn't lead to that's in the top 10 of causes of death is accidents. Out of the top 10, 9 of the 10 are chiefly connected to excess fat. The devil is having a field day. No telling if we realize this and we lose weight so that we feel better, have more faith, have more confidence, no telling the light that we could be to this old world. But we have to be that light. So glad we have each other. Help each other, inspire each other. Where would we be without this little group? I'm so thankful today. I bet there's not many conversations in America going on like the ones we're having right now. Facts about muscle. The more muscle we have on our frame, the more calories we will burn at rest. Our baseline metabolic rate is the number of calories we expend each hour while we are at rest. When we get up and move, that speeds up. If you lose muscle and lean tissue with bad diets, first 3 letters of the word diet spelled DA. Anything we start with and can't stay with forever is a waste of our time. We don't need diets anymore. Get away from the diet mentality. You got to stick with something. So when we're dieting and we do these ridiculous diets that don't control insulin and preserve muscle, and it's just calorie deficit, we're losing muscle. We're losing our baseline metabolic rate. Fun fact, did you know sitting and watching television burns less calories per hour than sleeping? When your mind is active, you burn more calories. When you're asleep, your mind is more active than watching television. It puts you in a trance. If you're going to watch television, get on a treadmill or something and watch it. Let's keep it moving. When we get in efficient fat burning mode, we're literally leaking fat. We're leaking calories out of the pounds of fat because you're already in the EFB. Okay. All right, I'm going to pause there for a minute. Any questions about the difference between fat and muscle and why we want to preserve muscle and burn fat? I'm going to pull up my little digital whiteboard while I wait on any questions you might have. I like to do this, even though I'm a terrible illustrator. This is fat, 3,500 calories. This is muscle, 600 calories. There are calories stored in muscle. Can y'all see my whiteboard? Okay. This is our gear stick. Okay, we've got a gear stick. This is manual transmission. We've got a clutch. That's how our body works. Your body is typically burning glucose that's stored in muscle. It's not burning muscle yet, but it's burning glucose. Sugar is stored in muscle. Carbohydrate is stored in muscle. when you eat too many carbs, it is converted to fat and then it gets stored in fat. But your muscle stores glucose, which is attached to water. That's why in the beginning you lose so much weight. And it's why when you go off the program, you gain so much weight temporarily, because the muscle stores glucose. It has to. It's how it operates. Too much glucose is where the problem is. So when you are eating a balanced level of calories, your energy expenditure equals your calorie consumption, then everything's balanced out properly as long as you're not spiking insulin. You're not losing, you're not gaining, it's just water weight fluctuation, and you're staying at a baseline weight very well. When your calories are increased, the body looks at the type of calories. We've always heard that all calories are created equal, and if you want to lose weight, you just need to be in a calorie deficit. That is wrong. That is bad nutritional doctrine. Drives me crazy that we tell diabetics this. If you noticed in the group, somebody recently said they had diabetes. Bless them. Let's pray for them. But they said they were just informed they couldn't eat broccoli. My goodness, broccoli would help you. It's not their fault, but it's just the whole marketplace is full of lies. Who sowed them? Who's the author of the lie? Broccoli would help. It would save your life. But nevertheless, let me prove it to you with just common sense. If you know that if you consumed 1,000 calories a day, that everybody here, if that's all you consumed, you would lose weight. If 1,000 of those calories came from foods like chicken and broccoli, or 1,000 calories a day come from things like Moose Tracks ice cream, same calories, which one would you lose more weight?
Travis, can I ask a quick question?
More body fat, sure.
How you said before, and I know probably have it written down somewhere else than where I'm at right now. What is the calorie count you should be? Because I know isn't like times your body weight, current weight, or is it times what you want to be, or how is it figured? How is it figured?
No, nobody, you'll never hear this math from anybody but me. I created it. And the reason I created it is interactions with tens and tens of thousands of people and myself. And I weigh 5, 6, 7 times a day. Here's how everybody should do it because it simplifies it. As long as you're following good nutritional practices and not eating sugar and starch with those calories. Shibboleth. What is your ideal weight? You can go to www.theidealweight.com and determine your ideal weight range. Whatever your ideal weight is, or you want it to be, until you get to that weight, multiply that times 8. That will, if you're following Shibboleth and you stay under those calories, you'll never miss a beat. And you'll be efficiently losing body fat, even on your holidays, where you staying within the parameters of the program, and you'll be preserving muscle. Now, if you go over that sum, you'll still lose weight, but the weight loss will slow down.
Okay.
If
Thank you.
If your number is 1,000 calories, I don't want anybody going below that. You just need to let the weight loss slow down, unless you're fasting for a season. Now, let's stay with me. It's more complex than one would think. You also have to figure in your weekly calories. I got over the last few years where I don't look at my daily. I have to write the daily down, but I'm looking at weekly. So if the calculation says I can have 1,000 calories a day, I look at it more like I can have 7,000 a week. Because what I would do is on the weekend, I might be in a calorie deficit, but then on the weekend have a meal at a steakhouse or something that was 7,000 calories. So you have to factor all of that in. to your Hollow Mills holidays if you're trying to optimize. Next, once you reach your ideal weight, now you're there, you have arrived. Take your ideal weight times 10. It will almost always be exactly what any device will tell you your BMR should be. So let's say that I'm at 180. That means I want to stay at 180. I'm at 180. I want to stay there. That means I can have 1,800 calories a day, Shibboleth style, and I won't have any problem. I'll preserve muscle. I'll be in good fit condition, depending on other genetic factors. If I'm trying to put on muscle, and we're doing a little faithfully fit stuff here. Is this okay? Are y'all okay with this information? Don't want to confuse you. But this is what the kind of stuff you have to look forward to down the road. By the way, Sir Jay is building these calculators for every faithfully fit member and partner. Can I get ain't that good? Muscle and all these calculations I'm going over, he's building it in for partners. I'm having faith that I'm going to get enough partners and faithfully fit members. Okay. If I'm trying to put on muscle, then I look at the weight I want to be. So let's say I'm 180, but I want to be 200 pounds of muscle. Are y'all following me? I want to put on 20 pounds of muscle. So I do 200, the weight that I want to be. I'm going to eat right. I want the 200 pounds times 12. It goes to, I need extra raw material to put on extra muscle, and I have to work out hard. When you're trying to put on muscle, this is why I tell people you cannot lose fat and burn muscle at the same time. They're lying. Because to put on muscle, guess what I need? I need growth hormone. What is growth hormone? I need insulin. So I'm going to need blue column meals. Everything shifts. When you're trying to lose weight, prioritization in your macronutrient profile is water, protein, good fats, then carbohydrate. When you're trying to maintain, depending on your exercise regimen, it's typically protein, fat, and carbs being about equal, and you're good there. Then when you're putting on weight, then you have to prioritize protein, then carbs, and less fat. That's the kind of stuff we teach in the other courses. We're at 11:25. I'm going to pause. I want to give you a preview so that you come back next week, because typically there's a fair ratio of people that prefer the nutrition talk and not the why talk. And I typically lose people early because they think every week's going to be about the why and about faith. But here's where we're going next week. So we'll dive deeper into macros, carbohydrates, saturated fats and trans fats, monounsaturated fats, polyunsaturated fats. We'll do the dive into that. MCT oil, water. We'll probably get through about that much next week. Okay. Did anybody get anything out of this today? Any questions before you go?
Travis, I do have a question.
Mm-hmm.
I was going through the 4-week course book because I printed it. It says there's 6 levels to the shield. I know 5. What is the 6th?
Bless the name of the Lord.
Oh, okay. I was going to say faith, but I didn't see that anywhere in any of the material I have. So I just wanted to check.
That's good enough. Faith works for me. Yeah. Yes. Cindy says they don't know about the community on the site. We're talking about, Cindy, are you talking about the Facebook group for this or our community? on the website. Here was another thing, a reason that I ought to be shot, I guess. I had a vision too big for my britches, Joy Beth. So what she's talking about that never really got out there is the following. Let me get back to the website. We've got, and this is awesome, really. When we kept getting shadow banned on Facebook, we went to building our own community out. This was years of work. Now we have our own community, and it works and operates a lot like Facebook. You've got your questions, videos. It works like Facebook, where you can make posts. 20 hours ago, Liza posted here. You can share. Yeah, you can share to social media. For example, if you were sourcing it here and sharing it to your profile, we would get more people noticing us. But this is private community. It's just that you could share it and somebody might click it or whatnot. But yeah, here's Lisa. Oh, that's the good doctor. These little stars shows what level you are. Are you a beginner? Are you a partner? Are you a faithfully fit member? So it works a lot like Facebook, and was planned on getting better and better and better, and then COVID hit. But this is our community.
Where do you find that at? I don't think I've ever.
Right here, this little orange tab, community. Inside the website, and then you have the community right there. Got a good little, unless it's changed, let's see. Sometimes he moves stuff around since we don't use it too much. You got photos and goals. You can set privacy on it. I'll have to go look for what I'm looking for. Sometimes stuff gets hid because it slows the website down if we're not using it. But anyway, that's where all that got to. And it was meant to be a very positive place. And also there's an algorithm that I put in it. So let's say, y'all know how negative Darla can be. Darla Binsky, she can be so negative. I'm just kidding. But let's say that she posts something and it's negative. If there's a certain, you can thumbs down it and she won't see it. Nobody will see it. Nobody will know. But if the ratio goes so high, because overall the community feels it's not lending itself to a positive environment, then it only gets shown to people who didn't. If you're not liking it algorithmically, you won't see anything that the algorithm picks up on as negative. So only people that liked it would begin to see those types of posts. Trying to keep the positive very, very positive, because we can all tend in a negative environment to become negative. Lot was dealing with that in his day. His righteous soul was vexed. He had to get out of there. So we wanted to get off of Facebook and keep our community in a container of positivity. All right, next question. Where are the new recipes with the fiber-wise flour? I've been looking for them myself. I do so many things, I can't find the darn things. I'm going to have to rewrite them. If Nicole, meanwhile, if you can let me know, I'll try to get to work on those again. I cannot find them. I wrote many. Lisa, I think, was looking for them and couldn't find them. But if you let me know, meanwhile, here's what I can tell you how to do it. The Red Lobster biscuit mix, that entire package takes 6 scoops of fiber-wise flour. And you have to change out your butter for ghee butter. Same thing for Bob's Red Mill mixes. Any of those mixes, if you follow the instructions, they're taking about 6 scoops of fiber-wise to negate the carbs. So the chocolate chip cookies, the pancakes. So when you're laying out based upon the instructions on the package, it's landing on about 6 scoops of fiber-wise flour to shut the fat bus down. Let me write that down so I can work on that content when I can get a chance. It's
Do you-
probably on my laptop and I'm looking for it on my desktop.
Do you use the fiber-wise flour along with regular flour in a recipe? Or do you?
You
Switch
can
it.
you can in some, but not like regular flour, more like whole grain flours. Like Bob's Red Mill has a lot of whole grain stuff that would not work, even though it's good whole grains. It's too much fat bus. But if I add fiber-wise flour to most of the Bob's Red Mill mixes, I can make it work. It's not regular flour because sugar, starch, regular flour, if we're talking about a lot, nothing can slow that down. It's just fat bus city for 2 days. But if you take Bob's Red Mill, their whole grain, whole wheat stuff, it wouldn't normally work, but I can add into it fiber-wise flour and shut that fat bus down if I control my portion. About 6 scoops.
Hey, Travis, I've got a question.
Mhm.
So I'm an hour behind y'all guys, and you usually do your, videos and stuff early in the morning. For me, it's like, well, now it's like 10:30, but when it started, it was like 9:30, and I set my own hours, so I tend to work late at night when I don't have interruptions from my clients in the daytime. So nighttime is when I can really get my work done. So I tend to work till about 12, 1. And so it's hard for me to get up, take care of the dogs, take care of the house, and then, get to my computer by 9:30, 9 o'clock. Are you going to be recording all of these so I can watch them at like 10:30 in the morning instead of, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do record all of them. And Lisa puts them in the library. And a few weeks ago, when I think I shared, I was just making myself sick with worry because what I want to do is do this full time. And when I'm doing it full time, I just gotten back with my schedule again. And then, Sasha had to shut down the Shibby shop. And I had just put out the schedule where I do morning, because I realize there's people out there like you, morning and evening. And I just rolled out that schedule. And then when I found out about the Shibby shop, I had to put the brakes on. So right now, if I can get enough partners, I'm going to stay doing this full time. If I can't get enough partners, then I'm going to get a full-time job and I'll have to do this either mornings or evenings, but not both, because I will make sure so that I can keep it all going as promised that I get a 3rd shift job. So that's what I'm looking at. What I want to do for y'all, if y'all see the value and I can get enough partners, is I can keep a schedule where Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday I can do morning and evening because this is my passion, and do it live, because we do know live classes and the spirit, the live interaction is a little more beneficial than a recording, but that's kind of where things are right now and why I had to upset the schedule. I had to, I'm sorry, but I do record every session.
Now, when we're partners, who's getting that money? Is Sasha getting it, or are you getting it, or how does that work?
Yeah, I think we're supposed to meet at noon. Right now, the revenues that I get are Faithfully Fit, and then Shibboleth revenues and partnerships go to Shibboleth. But we're supposed to talk about that today and figure out how we're going to handle that, because she did say that she wanted the partnership money to start coming to me. So we're going to talk about that at noon. Whoever you're helping in this, we're still friends. Sasha and I are always going to be, we're just going through a little difficulty, and there's nothing to distrust about Sasha at all. And we're going to be able to talk, I think, today at 12 and keep ironing the details out. So whoever you're helping, it's all beneficial at the end of the day. Both of us are good people. Neither one of us wanted this to happen. We're going, when it's all over, we're going to hug it out, and we're going to keep being mission driven. So just pray for us, and Don't worry about transferring anything, changing anything right now, because she's going to either have to support my efforts to continue or me hers. So it's not going to matter that much. But I do appreciate the question.
Okay, so I have a question.
Okay.
So, kind of rolling off that. So the website, the Shibboleth, myshibboleth.com, will that like go with you, or is it
Yeah.
like, do you know what I mean? Because
I do.
that is, and I wrote that before, and that is such a powerful tool for all of us. I mean, it really, you know, I always fall off track, but I always come back to Old Faithful, my Shibboleth. You know what I mean? Like, it helps me with the journal, the recipes. It's just such a resource for, I imagine, all the members. And now knowing that there's a community area in there as well, I didn't know that. So really things that pull me back and keep me in track. So
Yeah.
my thing is that staying with you, or is that gonna like stay with her? Or because you were saying that the funding right now, when we go to partner there, and that's where I was actually going to go to do that, but I want to make sure, and I want to help obviously for the past, but the future moving forward, I want to make sure that the resources and the website, I want to contribute to that. And I want to make sure that that stays live. And because I use it and I know everybody else uses it. So when I put money into it monthly, I want to make sure it goes to that, to moving forward. Does that make sense? I don't want to be cold. I want to help in the past, and I want to do that when I can, but I really want to dedicate the bulk of my funds to moving forward.
Let me try to explain that, and y'all hold me accountable for a minute, because my mouth gets me in a lot of trouble. If I come across as casting any negative reflection on anybody but myself, stop me in my tracks, because this is 100% all of it my fault. But here's how I want to couch what you're saying. So 7 months ago, we basically, for whatever reason, stopped communicating. The finances of the revenues of the company went to Uncommon Paths. I always owned the intellectual property. Sasha owned the company. Now, she would tell you, and she's telling me, that she never wanted to own the company. But when I will refer back to the video I posted Sunday on that part of it. Now, with that said, because it's confusing to people, because for about 2 months, I didn't know what to do, because we could not communicate. So I began to be worried, not knowing where the company was in the financial realm. And it was my belief that it was going to have problems by the end of the year, to the point that I may not be able to keep that website open. So I said, because I didn't want to alarm everybody more than I had, that I'm stepping away. So during that time, I went to working on a website not nearly as good, because I didn't have any finances to do so, other than Advocare commissions and Melaleuca commissions. So I went to working on a backup plan in case things got too deep in the water, because this website cost a lot of money to keep running. So I started working on one that had scaled down resources just in case. So by December, Sasha and I began to communicate more, and we agreed on some go forward strategies the first of the year. So I stepped back in, which caused a lot of problems too. So I stepped back in, and we did start elevating the revenues, but not nearly enough. So since everything was pretty much funded by the Shibby shop, when the Shibby shop went down, it left both because she's working on her situation, and I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to keep, now without that revenue, keep the website up and running, because I'm having to pay the developer. So it was obviously, that's a situation, it's difficult. That's why y'all seen Sunday me say I can't even sleep anymore. With that said, right now the revenues, Sasha is going to most likely, as said Sunday, have to file bankruptcy on uncommon paths. She knows and feels the same, that I have a desire to keep the website up and running and honor all these memberships. She does too. She did the liquidation, and y'all are showing up for what I still say is both of us. As the husband, I feel responsible for what she's going through. So she's going through heck. So she will need that liquidation money to deal with legal issues and such as that. And we don't have a full accounting yet to know if there's going to be any left over to pay all of the income producing expenses that I'm paying. So as we continue to account for, she sent me money this week to pay our developer. And I was very grateful for that, because I didn't have access to any. So right now, directly incoming to me is any monies paid through the Shopify stuff, the Faithfully Fit stuff. That's income coming into me for me to pay what I consider to be the income producing bills. I have about, just to keep everything running and keep my support team, Lara, Lisa, Sergey, the developer, all the things that we got to keep going, Zoom, the text messages, but I'm not doing those right now. Just all of that costs me about $12,500 a month to keep it all running, and Faithfully Fit income's about $2,000 to $2,500. I do have the Advocare. Y'all see why we're both stressed? I do have the Advocare coming in. I do have the Melaleuca. That puts me about $7,000 a month coming in to pay the $12,500. So on her end, she's not got any profits. She's liquidating. But there's also, before we had the split, there was the partners, and that was going very well. Obviously, because of my handling of everything, we lost a lot of partners. But there's still quite a few in there. Thank you all. That's going to her. Let me take that back. That'll get me in trouble. It's not going to her. It's going to the corporation. But today we're meeting because she has expressed her desire to give me those monies to keep the website going. So we have a meeting about that today, and I'll keep everybody updated. I have no doubt that she's going to forward those to me, if that makes any sense. So right now, what I'm looking at, is there a reasonable chance that I can keep doing this full time by getting enough new partners and keeping enough of the partners that have been with us? Obviously, going through these personal crisis and being a faith-based organization has put a bad taste in a lot of our partners' mouths. And I want you to know that this is my fault. I never knew that we were in such a state that overnight, I just didn't know. So as I've reflected as a husband and a leader, I've had to look back through the rearview mirror and look at what I've done wrong, and it's been a lot. There's something wrong with a man who, other than Lara and Lisa and Sherry Ditto, Doesn't even have a team member that probably would speak to him. Amy, but I didn't know. I guess I was the, you know, I'm gonna use it as a way to grow as a man. When all this happened, I found Jesus real fast. And then, not that I didn't have him, but I'm just embarrassed and I don't know what to say. And I guess some of y'all will stay around depending on your belief in my genuineness through the years. I've been doing this 20 years, and until God takes my right mind, I'm not going to stop doing it. I'm going to be here for you, and I'm going to try my best to honor my word. There's certain things that happen so fast, my own fault. I don't blame anybody but myself, but I'm just trying to answer you honestly, because I'm one that's going to lean into what's the worst thing that can happen, which is part of why the people I work with don't like me very much. I lean into what's the worst thing that can happen so that we can have fallbacks. Instead of, I'm not a very behind the scenes, Liz, I'm not a very positive person. And I tend to carry weight and say, well, if this happens, this is going to happen, and we better check out. And people that come to work with me, they come because they want to have fun. They want to help people lose weight. It's supposed to be enjoyable. And then I make it miserable on people. That's what we're dealing with here. And I've got a lot of growth to do. And I hate that I'm that kind of person, and I'm going to keep working on myself. But I'm very thankful for all of y'all who have overlooked my faults and are still with me. But I'm going to figure out how to keep this website somehow.
Okay. Well, I just want to say, you probably look at both sides. You see the big picture. You see what could happen, and I'm not there, so I can't make any excuses or anything. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm a type of person that I see the big picture, and a lot of people say that about me as well, because what I do with my clients, they'll come to me and they'll say, oh, this is such a great idea, and and I'm like, yeah, but I point out like all the negatives, and they're like, oh, yeah.
You're so negative.
And it's not that. I'm protecting them. And they realize that, and they appreciate it, and they've kept me around. I've been doing this since 2000. So, I have a huge client base, but yeah, I always pop their bubble. They're like, oh my gosh, Liz, I was so excited about this idea. And I said, well, you can do it, but in good consciousness, and for me to sleep good at night, I've got to be truthful to you. And so I'm not a yes person. I'm not going to tell you something you want to hear. I'm going to tell you the truth. And that's why you keep me around. And they're like, you're right. I'm sorry. But, from what I can tell about that company and this and that, it's not a good investment. It's not a good way to sink your money. You're not going to get the results that you want. So I have real empathy. I really understand what you're saying, because that's me. But I'm a very positive person. I'm not a person who stays down. I'm very, I'm a problem solver. So I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. You said some key things that really give me hope for myself, in that, it's been said I'm doom and gloom, and it's just after too many days of that. And I get I need to change myself. But what you said is exactly how I felt. I'm protecting everybody. But instead, I come across as just, it's the end of the world every day to people. And I did not mean to do that. It's torn up 2 marriages and 2 companies. So I've got to change myself, and I'm willing to do that. So, but still, it helps me feel a little better when you say, because that's what I never meant any harm. I just meant to be protective of us.
Yeah, understandable. And the cool thing about it is that you can, reflect in and say, okay, I see where I can improve and change. And we're all evolving and changing and growing. And so I mean, this is a great journey for you to realize that and make those changes that you need to do, but still have the, you know, that you still want to keep where you're protecting. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You don't want to let that go and say, well, okay, I better not, you know, bring that up, you know?
Yeah, I've got to find, I got to find some new ways to do that. And one of the things is just giving it to the Lord, letting Him counsel me instead of me going to others and expressing all my fears. And, you know, it's been a big learning experience. It took me doing it 10 years of people putting up with me at Thrive, and now 10 years at Shibboleth. So maybe the next 10 I'll learn from my mistakes. But y'all stuck with me, and I just know everybody involved. There's a lot of hurt, and I'm blocked by some of the team members. It's hard to even, but I didn't even know anybody was mad at me. So it's that's how dumb I am. But they've all been fantastic. You know, I couldn't have asked for a better team. I couldn't have asked for a better team, and I love them, and I hope for healing, and that whatever negative influence and darkness I brought into their life, that one day they'll forgive me, and that the Shibboleth family will give me a third chance. That's what I'm hoping.
Well, I know for me, I appreciate you and I learn a lot from you, and I don't really want to lose you. You're the one that's out front there trying to teach us all how to be healthier. And I know behind the scenes, you know, they do a lot of work, which I'm thankful for that. But I know that for a lot of us, we don't want to lose you.
Yeah, and I appreciate that, and nor them. And that's what I've learned the last 7 months. Like I've told several of them, I'm really ashamed that that you didn't feel valued, because I can't do, y'all have seen it. Without them, I can't do very much. They really made it happen for me. And, it's been a huge learning lesson. You got to have a team, and it's just it's just greater responsibility than I was equipped to handle during that season too. And I just can't do all that I get credit for. I get way too much credit. They were the ones that kept me propped up, and I appreciate them. And I hope one day there's healing and forgiveness. I really do. Most health and wellness coaches make an hourly wage. Your client glad to pay for the services. Thank you, Betty. We are going to do a Shibboleth-thon. One of the clients recommended that, and we're going to do that and see if we can get enough partnerships. And I'd like to keep doing this full time, but it'll be up to y'all. Y'all will get to be the judge and the jury. But either way, I'm trying to prioritize keeping the website for everybody as promised. Again, I'm praying about it every day. God, please, I'll put you first. Just, I'll quit putting Shibboleth in the website first, but we need you right now. And I know He's going to make a way. He always has. And He loves y'all. It ain't about Travis. It's about all of us. And this is God's program. And I'm trying my best to start acting and behaving that way.
Hey, Travis, really quickly.
Mhm.
On Facebook, it's Elizabeth Lowe Gordy. I'm the web developer. So if you need any help, I really feel like I can help you, especially like renegotiating, looking at your pricing. I mean, just FYI, I've got years of being a marketing director, negotiating contracts, buying TV commercial spots. Like I've got some resources.
Awesome. Well, that is definitely having somebody like Talitha is trying to work with me. We were making good progress again. It's like the enemy just keeps getting in on starting a foundation, which is what I've always wanted to do. And I've been saying it for 15 years. And she's helping me with that. And one of the things early on, I want to have non-clients, non-employees, people that don't necessarily they're not trying to get my blood. Everybody sees money making potential with it, and they all think that if they could get in, they could do it. But what I've always lacked is what Fred Taylor of OTR in Rome, Georgia, before he passed away, he said, you need a board, that people that don't want your blood. And he said that can consult you, that know more than you do, because, you know, you need good counsel without people just trying to get what they can get. And what I want is a board that can say, like what you're saying you bring to the table, here's what I can offer in advice, because a lot of this I've had to learn myself. And you know, like right now we've got a great web developer, but there's so many things. He's just the structural part of it. And as you know, there's so much more from the marketing, and you know, we've just been raped when it comes to last year alone. We had 2 different marketing companies look good. We vetted them out, and we had to give them a retainer. It's a long story, but $10,000, five to one, 5 to other, they just disappeared. It's
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
so I would love to, as soon as I can get my arms around some of this stuff, I'd love to meet with you and get some advice. And
Absolutely. I'm more, I do internet marketing. That's what I do. But really, I really feel like I can help you, you know, with like your hosting, not hosting it myself, finding you the right hosting, making sure that the developer obviously is probably expensive because of what he does, and he does, I'm sure, the databases and things like that. But there's a lot of things that you can do in-house where it would alleviate that expense to that developer, and only using him just as minimal as possible to keep that expense down. Because I know they charge like an hourly. You get like a base rate, and then it's an hourly once you hit over a certain amount of hours. And so I'm talking about stuff like that where I can really help you on the website side.
yeah,
You know, yes, I definitely believe in marketing. I do internet marketing, and that's kind of my gravy. But I'm a web developer, not to the database side though. And your site is very heavy driven database.
yeah, it is. And we're very lucky that you probably realize how much development in the
Oh
state
gosh.
costs. But my guy, the reason I don't let go of him, and sometimes I pay him even when I should let him take off, is 𝐿𝐴. And I'm about to put out the biographies. 𝐿𝐴 is like my brother. He saved our butt. He makes $18 an hour.
Okay, he's
Yeah.
very cheap.
Yes, he's amazing, but he
Yeah.
has to maintain full-time work, because when he gets all these contractors, and then we bring in others and they fail. But 𝐿𝐴, you know, if we rebuild the company, it starts with myself, and Sasha would tell you the same thing. Like, I will go get a job before we let 𝐿𝐴 go, because you can't, we've been there. And 𝐿𝐴, he's in the Ukraine too, and we want y'all to know his story. When they were having, I'm gonna cry again. We have amazing people, and I've let them down. 𝐿𝐴, he has worked for y'all even when there were bombs hitting around his home. He's not stopped. He's got a little baby. The life expectancy for a Ukrainian male over there is 56. I've been trying to get him over here in the States for years. That's still his dream. They're just amazing little family. And it's these stories that I want to tell. And I get all this credit, and it wouldn't have happened without Sasha, without 𝐿𝐴. And, you know, when he's fighting his butt off right now to help me figure out how to get more partnerships, because to him, this is his company, you know. When he looks at that website, he's proud of it. And
It's a beast. It's big. I looked into it. I was like, wow, that is so big.
yeah, he's as brokenhearted as the rest of us are, and just like I've let a lot of people down, and I'm trying to fix it. And I appreciate y'all. Appreciate you.
Well, I'm here if you need anything, any help with that. you know,
Yes.
even just to like help do like website stuff to help. How do you pronounce his name? SJ?
Sir J, yeah.
Sir J. Yeah, I'm definitely not saying to replace him. Your site is beyond what I have available in time with all my clients, because I've been doing this since 2000. So I already have like a client base. And I was talking with Carl, who actually introduced me to Shibboleth years ago. He's out in Georgia, and man, he just does really great on the program. And I was like, wow, what are you doing? And he said, I'm doing Shibboleth. And, you know, he's the one who introduced me. And, but I was like, oh my gosh, Carl, I'm in such conflict. And he's like, Liz, you already work so much. And I'm like, I know, but I know I could help them. And he's like, I don't know how, you're already busy. So I don't want to like take on that thing. I just want to, you know, just aid information to you, help y'all guys if we need to negotiate contracts, things like that. That's something I'm really good at.
I appreciate that. And I will be lenient, because one of the things that he's Ukrainian, and you can imagine the time Sasha has spent communicating, me spent just to have somebody else willing at some time to explain something to him. So that would be really good. But I do have a 12 o'clock meeting. Thank you so much, everybody. I love y'all all. Thank you for your support of both Sasha and myself. If it's okay, I'm gonna close us out in prayer, and y'all keep praying for us. We'll pray for y'all too. Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day, Lord, our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever and ever. Amen. Amen. If y'all do need to get information to me, Lara and Lisa work for me. Let me take that back. Sorry, Larry and Lisa. They work with me. Lara and Lisa are my help, and they're in the Philippines, and I can't wait for y'all to hear their story too. So feel free to reach out to them. If you're trying to get information to Sasha, I would reach out to Sasha, and if there's somebody else she's got working for her to help her, she'll let you know. Thank
Have a
y'all.
great day. Have a good day.